guys, this is Josh Cat 110 here, and today we're going to be reacting to a video called Destroyer vs. Evolved Godzilla from GojiGuyy. So go check him out. He makes some really, really amazing content. I'll leave his original video and his channel in the links in the description, so you can go check him out. Without further ado, let's get right into the video.
Hey everybody, super important thing to say, so please, please, please stay, I beg you. I know you all want
Okay.
to see the juicy battle.
Look at this. Look, this is so beautiful. Like, you can't tell me this is, like, not peak. Come on. Like, whoever did this, props to you. Beautiful art.
Breakdown, but I have something much more important to say first. While you may not agree with my opinion on the outcome of this battle, you can't argue with the fact that cancer sucks.
Oh, yes, it does.
Goji,
It sucks so much.
Community raised over $5,000 for St. Jude's Children's Hospital to help find a cure to cancer. This year, though, I am happy to partner up with many of my fellow dinosaur creators, this time with the fundraiser, Dinos vs. Cancer, where together we will fight against cancer.
That goes hard.
So, with that being said, check out the fundraiser attached. It's for a great cause, and your single donation could be the last little push we need to find a cure and save millions. So, check it out. Thank you for listening, and
let's begin. Alright, bet. Let's begin this video.
Evolved Godzilla, taking the strongest being in the monsterverse and making him even more powerful.
Looks so cool.
Capacity, or specifically magnification.
He'd look cooler if he was He'd be cooler if he was blue, though. I mean, if I'm being honest, he look
even more powerful.
He would look way more cooler if he was blue. If my honest opinion.
Increasing his energy capacity, or specifically magnification, by 20 times, allowing Godzilla to hold more energy than ever before, dwarfing his past versions. Goji, Dohei, and even Burning don't hold a candle to the new strongest titan in the verse, only being challenged by the likes of Shimo. Evolved Godzilla and Supercharged Evolved are the peak of Monsterverse Godzilla's potential as of now, being able to said Supercharged Evolved state on command, drawing all of his energy out at once to blast out in one single.
But Godzilla, Monsterverse Godzilla really box. If I'm being honest with you, I think I got Evolved Godzilla. I think I do. I think he just looks so cool. But I did tell you he looks cooler as, like, if he was blue, if he was a little bit bluer, as I'm saying, like a little bit more bluer. You know what I'm saying? I get why he's pink, but you know.
Single attack, the Supercharged Evolved Beam. The single
Supercharged Evolved.
Now, the Monsterverse rages on. Each time a new foe is introduced, such as Ghidorah, Mechagodzilla, or Shimo, there's always one that is brought up in it.
I think Shimo is like.
Each time a new foe is introduced, such as Ghidorah, Mechagodzilla, or Shimo.
Shimo just has so much aura, bro. Like, look at her. She's so beautiful. She's just icy. She's icy like that. Like, she's like super. She got so much aura, bro.
There's always one that is brought up in a debate. A kaiju so feared and so powerful that the Godzilla that
this is like Alien.
Had to die to take him out. The devil of kaiju.
He had to die because he had to die to take out this thing, bro. That is insane.
Destoryah, being the final boss of the bombastic Heisei era of Godzilla, Destoryah to this day is considered to be one of the most powerful kaiju of all time, taking on the Super X3, Junior, and a Godzilla that was actively dying from his power alone to take him down. Now, I have covered Ghidorah's vs. Destoryah in the past.
He was dying to take him down. It's like crazy. Again, this is another thumbnail that looks so amazing. Like, literally. Like, look. Like, one of them is biting on, like, this is knee, right? Yeah, this is knee. Biting on, like, or it is like Heisei Ghidorah, I guess. So, I mean, this is Kevin right here. Look at Kevin. Like, they're all just like, Ghidorah is like the most biggest cheater. Like, he can regenerate and he has like 3 heads. Like, he cheats. He cheats a lot, but he's not in this video, is he? Okay, so let's continue.
This is Grand King Ghidorah or Kaiser, and my buddy FTA has covered a fight between him and Monster.
All these are so amazing, bro. I'm sorry if I keep pausing or not. Like, it's just too much. This right here, Samar 04. Shout out to you, bro. I'm pretty sure you make super good art. I didn't even check you out yet.
But what if we put him back to his roots, pinning him against the supposed king of the monsters?
Oh, Oh my god, I accidentally just went. Hold on. I accidentally went.
Yeah, good times. Things don't work like they used to.
$5,000 fighting it out.
Oh my god, bro.
It's so powerful.
I accidentally went.
Heaves or Super X's. You watching likely know what I do here, but if you're new, don't worry, it's easy to follow. So hop in your Heaves or Super X's, and let's get started, shall we? In today's video, we ask
Yes, sir.
Supercharged Evolved Godzilla versus Destoryah.
I got Supercharged Evolved Godzilla.
Win.
Who would win? I just told you, didn't I? I think it's gonna be Evolved Godzilla. Maybe I could be wrong, but I mean, let's let you decide. Actually, let's let GojiGuyy explain to us who would win. All right, let's go.
Again, hello everybody. I hope you all are doing well. In today's video, we're
I'm doing very well
today and pitting him against the strongest in history. Seeing if the Monsterverse has yet to cook up a beast that can stand its own against the Heisei Era's own devil.
Oh my god.
Many of you know how this goes. I will cover it real fast for new viewers, which if you're new, howdy. I will beg you to sub later, don't worry. But before we really cover how the fight between the two would go, we first need to cover a few things. Those being the main categories of this battle. Now, I should mention, winning more categories does not entail a victory, but we will cover said categories. And then
my god, did he just drag Godzilla?
I should mention, winning more categories does not entail a victory, but we will cover said categories.
Oh my god! Look at that! Look at my man's getting dragged by the Destroyer's freaking tail. Look,
we will cover said categories.
Bro. I don't know. I might have had to switch sides, Godzilla. Evolve. Maybe. I don't know.
And then go further in depth on how a battle between
I'm not gonna third party or anything.
these two would go. So, what are these categories? Well, it's been a minute since I've done one of these, so let's see if GojiGuyy still has it. The categories they'll be fighting for are strength, speed.
Oh my god! I paused at the direct moment after when like Godzilla did that suplex move on freaking Kong. But
I still has it. The categories
oh my god
are strength.
Look at how he's I'm sorry. Oh my god.
Durability, IQ, battle IQ, and lastly, abilities. Though after said categories are covered, like I said, we will cover a realistic battle between these two, taking in how they actually fight in the film.
I think I got the story. Bro. I'm sorry.
You will see in abilities, Destoryah can split and recombine willingly, and in doing so, fully regenerate. So you could argue you just spam this.
Disgusting.
Well,
that looks
Destoryah
disgusting.
himself doesn't do that in film. That would be headcanon Destoryah, which isn't what we want. We'll be going over the most realistic battle we can possibly simulate. So with that yap out of the way, let's begin, shall we? Starting with strength.
Yep. Alright, bet.
So, let's begin, shall we? So, unlike younger
Yep.
GojiGuyy, where I would just say, oh, this guy lifted more, we'll actually be breaking down strength into multiple versions, and then again covering it more in depth later. But for strength, we'll be covering lifting strength, along with striking strength. And really, a lot of categories will be like this. So, let's begin, shall we? Let's start with the
Yep.
Evolved Godzilla. Now,
We should begin.
Evolved and Supercharged Evolved are the same state. Unlike burning a normal Dohei Goji, Evolved Godzilla doesn't need a buff, at least in the normal sense. He just needs a moment to gather his power into the supercharged state. So with that being said, we also need to mention, Supercharged and really in turn Evolved Godzilla is the strongest version of Godzilla in the Monsterverse.
The strongest version? This art too, this art is beautiful as well. His thumbnail for the Godzilla.
Some people still peddle that it's burning Godzilla, but look, as much as I love that version, more than Pepto Goji over here, I'm sorry to tell you twin, it's Cope. Evolved is, sadly, stronger. The lore, along with any form of scaling back to that.
Oh man.
Disagree.
If only if he was blue, then I would be like, okay, yeah.
Whatever you need to tell yourself, man. The first stage of grief is denial. It's fine. Anyways, luckily, since he's the strongest, we can take any previous Goji feat and just apply it to this version of Godzilla. So let's start with the General Kaiju. He was able to throw the Ion Dragon. He was able to whoop the male Muto and kill him with a single blow. The male Muto weighing in at 15,000 metric tons. Along with the female Muto, where he's pushing her around in a one-on-one. The female Muto weighing
oh my god.
1,000 metric tons. And keep in mind, this was an EMP weak.
Maybe I might have Godzilla back if he's just gonna push around Destroyer.
Godzilla. Now, I know recently, my fellow creator D-Man1954 has stated otherwise, with pretty solid proof. So I can't fully say with 100% confidence anymore that Goji was truly super-duper nerfed in this confrontation. But one thing that is pretty apparent is the fact that the two other times Goji has been seen fighting, those being against Shinomura Muto Prime, he was fighting much better. And his beam wasn't just a fart of flames, it was an actual beam. So I personally still interpret it as Goji was weakened throughout the film. So while weakened, he pulled off those feats against the mutant and the monsters. When buffed with a nuke, he was able to throw the 141,056-ton Ghidorah
Oh my
in Godzilla's
god.
dominion. In a pretty weakened state, he was able to throw Amulok, who, like the Iron Dragon, doesn't have a weight, but
Bro,
given his sheer
he's
size, along with
this is what Legendary Godzilla is known for. He just loves to throw stuff because he just likes throwing stuff.
the fact that he's a swamp and likely made of a lot of water, he probably weighs around the same as Ghidorah. He was able to throw around Dominion Tiamat and even skip Scylla like a rock. Scylla's bum self weighing at 20,000 tons. He was able to clash against and push around the Muto Prime. When tired from his Hollow Earth beam, Godzilla was still able to push around the 90,000 ton Kong.
I'm sorry if I can't hear nothing because these headphones suck. Like the headphones I got on, I'm pretty sure you can't really hear my quality, my headphone, like my voice that well because like my headphones suck, bro. I'm gonna get I'm gonna get a different mic soon, bro. Don't worry. If this reaction is, I'm sorry if this reaction is trash, bro. Like, don't blame me. Blame my headphones.
And later threw him with his jaw alone. In Godzilla X Kong, before he went Evo mode, he was able to fight off against Tiamat. But for his best feat, he was able to lift a mountain off his back in Awakening, likely weighing millions of tons.
A mountain is crazy, bro.
And given that is Goji, who is about twice as weak as Dohei Goji, who is 20 times weaker than Evolved, Goji has some pretty busted strength. And for striking, he was able to go blow for blow with Kong and the Muto Prime, both Titans being Earthquake-level punchers. The Muto Prime being able to really replicate any Earthquake ever, and Kong being able to punch the force of a 4.2 magnitude Earthquake. Though the Prime is a bit odd, as you can't necessarily hit with that force, as it's more of an ability. But for what he's able to do as Evolved, he was able to break out of ice like it was nothing. He went blow for blow with Kong in Egypt, and leveled a pyramid like it wasn't even there. He was able to go blow for blow with the physically
I remember seeing that first time. I remember seeing that first time in like the movie, and I was like, oh. And then that suplex move he pulled off of Kong was like, which is peak cinema.
And is able to send Skarking flying with a tail smack. So with Goji stuff mentioned, what about Destoryah? Now, luckily, since he has only appeared in one film, he has a lot less. But don't take that as meaning Supercharged takes it with no diff, as Destoryah does have some pretty good feats himself. So, let's take a look. In his flying form alone, he was able to knock over Jr. Godzilla Jr. weighing in at 15,000 metric tons. When actually in his final form, he's able to manhandle Godzilla in all sorts of ways. From pushing, ramming, throwing, and dragging the King of the Monsters like a lightweight. Burning Godzilla weighing in at 60,000 metric tons. Now, while this may seem like a stomp, there is one other thing you need to keep in mind. Like Monster vs. Godzilla, Heisei had power creeps. Heisei Godzilla, once in his burning state, was many times stronger than his versus Mechagodzilla counterparts, who alone is able to push over and lift Heisei Mechagodzilla, who weighs in at 150,000 metric tons. And now
crazy.
Burning many times stronger than his versus Mechagodzilla self, but even still, Destoryah was able to overpower him time and time again. But one thing I should mention for Heisei,
bro, he is just gonna throw him.
Is that he lifted an island, which, no, he displaced an island. But that doesn't equate to strength, just mass. Like how Monster vs. Godzilla made a tsunami. It isn't a strength feat. It just happens because they're Godzilla. But for more striking strength, again, Destoryah is much stronger than any previous version of Godzilla, which includes the one that was able to slam Batcher so hard that he broke the ocean floor below them. Now, there is an issue though. We can't just apply that to Destoryah, or else we would have to apply the Muto Prime being able to create any earthquake to Godzilla. Not to mention, Destoryah can't really strike in the traditional terms, that being his arms in the first place. I mean, he barely has any to begin with, so he takes it. Well, firstly, I think it's clear, when it comes to striking strength, Supercharged steals that. He just shows with his striking attacks. But lifting is where it gets iffy, as it's really close. So, since it is, lifting will go ahead and be a tie. So, while a tie on lifting strength...
You just see what he... Oh my god.
First point will go ahead and be a tie. So, while a tie on lifting strength iffy, as it's really close. So, since it is, lifting will go ahead and...
You just see what he is strangling him, bro.
Be a tie. So,
like, have you heard, like, the Homer Simpson's, like, the why you little, and he just strangles Bart? That's what, it's just like the Godzilla version of that.
While a tie on lifting strength, given Monster vs. Godzilla does also take striking, the first point will go to Monster vs. Godzilla, taking strength in the battle.
Yeah!
Next up is speed. Now for this, it will be down to...
I'm sorry. I can't get over the fact.
Next up is speed.
I still get over that thing about Destoryah dragging Godzilla on the ground. That's so disrespectful to the Godzilla, to the big G-man. He's burning too.
This, it will be broken down into 3 categories: traveling speed, combat speed, and agility. Now, I realize agility is kind of its own thing, but I'm not going to go back and rewrite the script. But thankfully, it's really simple and anyone can guess this. Godzilla takes it. I don't think anyone will disagree with that, and if you do, You do you, I guess. Anyways, onto the two main speeds, starting with traveling speed. So this is more towards how fast both kaiju can get from point A to point B. And well, starting with Goji. In his Dohei Goji form alone, he's able to run 300 miles an hour. And in his evolved state, he is naturally much faster. Though as of now, we don't know how fast he is. So if I were to guess, I'd say anywhere from 500 to 600 miles an hour. But that is headcanon,
he's pretty fast,
so we'll just say over 300 miles an hour. For combat, we see he's able to fight off against the likes
He just runs. He runs. He's actually like he's like one of the few Godzillas to actually run.
Ghidorah and Kong, though he does cap at the likes of Mechagodzilla, that being thanks to his sheer speed due to his boosters. And for agility, he is shown to be able to overwhelm the likes of Kong when on all fours. He can twist the air.
I still get over the fact that Godzilla just went on all fours for some reason. Like, that's Godzilla out of context, like, a million times.
He can easily land tail smacks. So with Goji out of the way, what about Destoryah? Now for traveling speed, he has no stated speeds that I can find for flight, which would be his biggest help here. When simply looking up how fast he goes, you're met with 100 miles an hour, which seems... I mean, that's not out of the question. But then again, the source is Reddit, so... Yikes. He more just waddles in battle, and has never shown the ability to run at any capacity. For combat speed, I mean... It's the Heisei era. It wasn't known for drop kicks or dance moves. They are sluggish at best. For agility, he does have a prehensile tail that could be used to grab Godzilla and drag him, and he is semi-mobile on the battlefield, like he can get around pretty well. But there is one thing that does help him out a lot, and that's thanks to one of his abilities, which we'll go ahead and cover. Destoryah has the unique ability to break apart into smaller forms to attack a target. These smaller versions of himself are faster, and are able to combo the targets as he was burning Godzilla. So, with that in mind, who takes it? Well, in terms of traveling speed, Monsterverse dogs that category, and takes it with ease. For combat speed, again, Monsterverse takes it, and for agility, as you said, even if Destoryah splits apart, Godzilla has dealt with many foes at once, and personally, I still think is more agile. So with a point wipe, Godzilla takes all aspects of speed.
Facts. Yes, sir.
Now, this is
I still got Godzilla.
I'm not going to break up what versions of durability we'll cover, as there are just too many. Rather, we'll just cover their
Destoryah just looks so ugly. He's cool, but...
I'm not going to break up what versions of durability we'll cover, as there...
This is a... It's a little ugly.
Too many. Rather, we'll just cover their feats and then decide whose is more useful. So let's get started with Goji. Monsterverse Godzilla, as early as Awakening, is able to endure the Permian asteroid hitting him on the head and then just walks away as if nothing happened, despite the fact that a mountain hit him at tens of thousands of miles an hour. Enduring the heat, blunt, and crushing forces, and left unharmed. He was able to survive being dropped from the stratosphere. He's able to take blows.
I remember that.
And in a weakened state, he took a beam straight to the chest from Mechagodzilla. He takes punches from Kong, who can punch the force of a 4.2 magnitude earthquake. He is found with being frozen and crashing into the ground at thousands of miles an hour, though he does cap at a certain level of blunt attacks, such as Seaman being knocked out by Kong in Egypt. Which
I remember that. The Godzilla should be in WWE next. Imagine if that's actually official.
I will add here. Some of you tag me videos on TikTok of salty Godzilla fans trying to say
what
anything they can to try and say Kong didn't knock out Godzilla. So let a few things be known to said fans who complain about this. 1. I am not glazing Kong or downplaying or hating Godzilla. 2. The script itself says Kong knocked out Godzilla, as confirmed by Kong's motion suit actor Alan Henry. To anyone that might ask me, oh, what's the source of that? I'm the source. I had the pleasure of interviewing him a while back, so go check that out. And 3rd, most of the arguments have fallen apart trying to glaze Godzilla on this topic, as all that Godzilla glazers are left with is grabbing at random straws and hoping it works. So quickly, the main last argument is that Godzilla's eyes were open, and he was moving, so he was awake. Which, yeah, no one's denying that he was awake there. But if you can do any level of critical thinking, you will see how sad of an argument that is. Let me ask you, what do you do when you wake up? I don't know. Open your eyes and...
open my eyes.
Move around? Fascinating. But yes, Kong did knock him out. So if Destoryah can't hit him hard enough, he could put down the king for a little bit, and then possibly land a killing blow while he's out. Now, Destoryah is a bit harder to say. Firstly, he was able to injure the strongest Godzilla. But unlike Monsterverse Godzilla, that doesn't necessarily mean he's the most durable he has ever been, given he is literally
he's just walking through stuff
near the end of the film. So it's iffy whether he's actually at peak durability. But with that being mentioned, Destoryah
Burning Godzilla just has so much aura. Look at him.
He was able to take attacks from the infinite spiral heat ray, which, take a guess how hot it is, infinite. Or, at least according to some random statements.
Infinite is crazy.
How I feel about random statements, so take that as you will. Not to mention, in the film, Goji started melting at 1,182 degrees, and melted down fully at 1,200 degrees. So saying he was blasting out an infinite degree beam seems to me more as whoever wrote down its infinite heat was just trying to call it by its name, that being the infinite spiral heat ray, but it may have just gotten lost in translation. He's able to take blows from Godzilla, a Godzilla who should be at least physically stronger than any of his past versions. And like we said,
I was like, can't go over like Godzilla just throwing stuff. Like it's like It's like he just yeets stuff.
Godzilla's able to throw around Bachelor Larva, Mechagodzilla, and Ghidorah, and more. The main
Oh
issue,
my
really, that I
god.
know a lot of you have noticed, is the lack of feats. This is mostly due to the fact
This might be thumbnail. I don't know. This looks so like this got so much aura.
that we're pinning a main character of an entire verse, taking all of his films, comics, games, and more, and pinning him against a kaiju who's appeared in one film. There just sadly isn't too much on Des to begin with. But don't worry, I will say now, abilities is where he shines. One of said abilities being his division and recombination, where Destroyer can willingly break apart and then recombine and negate any damage dealt to him, essentially giving him infinite durability. Anyways, for durability, it's odd. Monsterverse from really all categories should take it, but Destroyer being able to break apart and come back together is kind of busted. Now, some people think that he only got his durability back after recombining because he drained energy of Godzilla, which I think is a reasonable conclusion, but to my knowledge, I don't believe there's anything outright that says that happened. Wikizilla does a great job explaining it more in depth, but to keep it short, after he was hit in a critical area that being his chest, which I should mention now, it's a weak spot in Destroyer.
Looks so ugly.
Continuing on, after taking a critical hit, he essentially
he just throwing up freaking goo.
Killed his largest self, splitting into his smaller forms, to later come back to undo the damage caused. There's also a certain statement that says each time Godzilla uses his atomic breath, it gets infinitely hotter from its already questionable infinite degrees. But given the film doesn't convey either of those sentiments, I personally don't use them, but I don't blame you if you were to. So it's pretty close depending on the interpretation. Given Monsterverse has outright feats, rather than having to rely on statements with little to no proof to back them up, durability will go to Godzilla. Next up is IQ, and can problem solve and adapt in battle. Now, this time, let's start with Destoryah, as despite only being in one film, he is not to be looked down on in this category. Now, firstly, he was able to figure out his foes and then adapt to them in the film, getting stronger and stronger, and adapting to his surroundings, and getting more powerful as need be. Along with that, he knew when he was in over his head. After taking a beam to the chest from burning Godzilla, he knew he was in critical condition and was going to die. So, rather than trying to go on, he divided into his smaller forms, and likely knowing he would smart. It at least didn't ensure certain death. He was able to perfectly calculate when to land his attacks, as seen when flying past Godzilla.
No, evolving Goji.
Other than that,
you better have something. You better have something that will impress me, Godzilla.
Tried to leave when he knew he was outmatched, but promptly died afterwards. Onto Godzilla. He has shown, like Destoryah, he can time his attacks, as seen with the Melmuto. He's able to target threats. He knows how much he needs to charge certain blows, as seen with the Hollow Earth Drill. He's able to figure out how to best help Kong in battle, and is able to let his companions take over in battle, such as allowing Mothra to land a hit on Ghidorah. Though when he does mad, he does
did you see the face he was making? Look, he's just like, he's just looking at Ghidorah. He's like, just has that cold look at him.
Land a hit on Ghidorah. Though when he does get mad, he does start to throw critical thinking out the window, as seen when he raised at Kong in Egypt, paying no attention to what Kong was trying to convey, or the fact that even after attacking Kong, he still didn't fight back, truly just trying to get him to calm down. So if he does get really mad, it isn't a great look for him. So IQ is pretty close, and personally for me, it's too close to say either have a noticeable edge over the other. Sure, Godzilla has more feats, as he's been in more films, shows, and comics, but he doesn't necessarily have anything higher in terms of IQ. So with that being said, IQ is a tie. Now, when it comes to IQ, either of them could have agree with if they would have just done one.
Can agree with that. I could agree with that. I could absolutely agree.
Simple thing. That being buying their kaiju and anime figures from Beast of the East Collectibles. This video is brought to you by the
is it ad? Hold up.
Starting with let's move on. Next up is Battle IQ, who is more experienced in battle, starting with Goji. Godzilla has fought off a wide range of kaiju at this point, from the ever-changing Shinamura to the giant Ghidorah and titanic Shimo. He has fought in water, on land, and in zero gravity. He has worked in...
He's fought everywhere, bro. Like, imagine the next movie, like in Supernova, he's just fighting space next. Just watch.
Teams. He has worked in cramped spaces, he has dealt with constriction, he has taken many blunt attacks, and a lot of and was able to...
Many attacks, bro. He's like... And he's still standing. He is still standing, ladies and gentlemen. To this very day, he is still standing.
1 to 2v1.
And like nothing ever happened.
And in each fight, he's able to adapt to his foe to fight them better. For Destoryah, he outright adapts to his foes physically. From simple soldiers to Godzilla Jr. to Godzilla himself. He knows his abilities well, as seen when he divides to save himself. He's able to figure out that his speed is a key factor, and then abuse that edge
strangling him
against Godzilla. And overall, is quite slept on in Battle IQ. Being able to know when he and then abuse that edge against Godzilla.
I'm sorry, it is the part I had never watched Godzilla Destroy before. Some clips, but never the full movie. This is the part where he drags him like around the war.
overall is quite slept on in battle IQ, being able to know when he needs to change to keep the fight going in his favor. So whose battle IQ is better against their foe? And for this, it's not too much of a surprise, but Godzilla will have to take this. He is
evolve Godzilla.
comparable size, such as Ghidorah. He's dealt with kaiju that can adapt even faster than the
I'll be a little bit more excited if you were just. Okay, I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna stop with the joke, bro. I'm gonna stop.
Destroyer, such as Shinamura, and has been jumped by kaiju much more powerful than his smaller forms. While again, Destroyer is no pushover, a fight like this would just be too different from his previous experiences. Going from the sluggish, Godzilla who waddles around to a Godzilla many times faster than his own, and has dealt with outright better versions of Destroyer and his own abilities, Godzilla has much better experience, and it would take a while for Destroyer to adapt to his body. And at a certain point, it just becomes headcanon Destroyer and not actual canon Destroyer. So, battle IQ goes to Goji. And now, abilities. Who has the better arsenal? We will be ranking this on who... Bro. Sit.
What the frick?
Down. Good girl. Good girl.
You gotta be kidding me with these ads, bro. Yeah, if you...
We will be ranking this on whose abilities are stronger, rather than who has more. So, let's start with Godzilla. Now, we will be ranking...
dog.
Good girl. Good girl.
I love my dog so much, bro. Hey, bro. Me too, bro. Me too. I love my dog, too.
We will be ranking this on whose
Pretty sure none of y'all wanted to know that.
abilities are stronger, rather than who has more. So, let's start with Godzilla. Now, Evolved has quite a list of abilities under his belt. Starting with the one all Godzillas have, the Atomic Breath.
I mean, obviously. Have you ever seen a Godzilla without an atomic breath? No, okay, good.
Normal one, he is also able to supercharge it. When injured, radiation is able to find its way out of his body, as seen with his pulse and aftershock. But burning is different, as he just had so much radiation his body physically couldn't hold it. He's able to detect where other kaiju are around the planet. He has telepathy with other kaiju. He's able to absorb the power of things around him, as seen with the nuclear reactor in France. He has thermal vision, and he's able to sharpen his dorsal plates. So with that being said, let's get to Destoryah. Now, Des has some busted abilities, so let's begin. Firstly, as we said, he has his division and recombination, where Des is able to break apart into his smaller forms to overwhelm his target, along with being able to recombine and then further negate any damage that was already dealt to him. He has his micro-oxygen beam, also referred to as the Oxygen Destroyer Beam, already being incredibly powerful. But as the name implies, he's able to destroy oxygen, similar to the bomb that created him, which would be very dangerous for Godzilla, seeing how he held up against said Oxygen Destroyer. He's able to drain energy from his targets using his tail,
almost
able
died.
to weaken and wear them down. But most importantly, Des kinda has his own world slash, that being his variable slicer, where using his horn, he's able to create an energy blade, cutting through essentially whatever is in his way. So while not as many, Destroyer's abilities are not only more powerful, but are a direct counter to Godzilla. So, with ease, Destroyer steals abilities. So, with that being said, let's take a look at the points. Supercharge Evolved Godzilla takes strength, speed, durability, and battle.
That should be bad,
Destroyer
I said.
steals abilities, and they tie on general IQ. Now, I know many Monsters fans are already celebrating, and Hazy fans are already typing my home address in the comments, but hold on. While it is a point sweep, that doesn't necessarily reflect how a battle between the two would play out. So, sit back down. If you're watching this while it premieres, then you can't see how much time is left, but of those watching after it's fully up, you can see there's still plenty more to cover. So, yes, while Goji takes the points, that doesn't give him a guaranteed win. As while he takes the points overall, it's not like Destroyer doesn't have a good fight in each of the
Godzilla's gonna sell me.
Godzilla just edged Destroyer out in each one of them, so he does take them. So, I am no Goji Standard or Death Battle, but I will write and try my best to edit together how I believe the most realistic battle between these two would play out, taking in their abilities, strengths, and weaknesses, how they fight in film, and how they act as a character. And then, once we come to a conclusion, I will explain why I believe said kaiju wins. So, with that being said, if you haven't already, subscribe, and let's break down this Titanic.
Don't worry. I'll make sure y'all subscribe. Subscribe to him right now, or else I'll come to your house and I'll sing Baby Shark to you for 24 hours straight. I'm just joking.
Battle. Godzilla has just broken from the ice. It can sense a presence like none other before in Tokyo. He beelines his way there, and within an hour he's arrived. He boils the water away, sending a steam tsunami through the city. And there, wrecking buildings in his way, Destoryah stands. The strongest of today versus the strongest in history. One has to fall. Godzilla will spend a brief moment studying Destoryah.
One has to fall.
The same. They both have
who's gonna win?
And know not to run into a battle willy-nilly without slight preparation. They both roar as they do and charge towards each other. Godzilla charges forward at incredible speeds. Destoryah, seeing he can't dodge, lifts up into the air. But before he can get too high, Godzilla jumps and grabs his tail and slams him down to the ground. He digs his claws into his tail and gets ready to throw Destoryah, but quickly falls to his knees. Not in pain, but as if he suddenly got weak. Destoryah wraps his tail around Godzilla's arm and lifts him and slams him into the ground as a counterattack, draining energy from Godzilla. Godzilla quickly goes into a supercharged state. Destoryah letting go of Godzilla as his sheer body temperature burns his tail, unable to latch on, hurting himself.
Oh my!
Charges his beam, but before he can fire a shot, Destoryah fires his micro-oxygen beam. Godzilla screeches, feeling the pain he felt back in 2019. This thing is a walking nerf machine, like the Mutos, but far worse. Godzilla now knows if you things.
Far worse
Avoid the beam
indeed.
at all costs. Stay away from the tail, and he needs to stay supercharged to keep said tail off of him. But Destroya has also been able to pick up on some things. He can actively sense Godzilla's power draining away in the state. All Destroya needs to do is stall as long as possible, and that will guarantee him a win. Godzilla charges his beam once more, and Destroya tries to get his own beam, but is pummeled by a supercharged beam straight to the chest, and then further aimed at his neck. Destroya profusely vomits blood, as his chest is fully destroyed. Having baked in on itself, his neck is starting to melt. Without a follow-up, Destroya falls to the ground, his body exploding into a cloud of steam. Godzilla goes to his thermal vision but can't see anything. The steam is too hot. That's when he's suddenly jumped by tiny versions of the beast he just killed. They stab deep into him. Godzilla shrieks, but he boosts his radiation, causing them to flee. Not without getting crushed though, stomping and beaming them. Out of the 10ish of them, 4 of them are quickly killed off. But like magic, Godzilla is blasted back by an explosion. Destroya is back.
Come on, Godzilla.
Godzilla switches his plan. Stay on him. He rushes in, ramming into Dest, using his heat to try and melt Destroya. Destroya opens his mouth and fires a beam, but Godzilla weaves and digs his hand into his throat. He starts digging in his throat and rips his tongue out. Destroya roars and hits Godzilla with a single slash. Godzilla stumbles back in shock, reaching up to his shoulder bone, a deep cut from the side of his neck down to his pec. Godzilla's bleeding profusely, knowing he's about to die. He quickly switches all of his radiation into regeneration and starts to heal a cut. But before he can get it all, Destroya swings his horn down.
Come on, heal, buddy.
To his head, but he does get
heal.
Cut open. He's running low on radiation. From the 20 times extra storage, he's about down to 5 times left. The cut on his chest is healed, and he charges his leftover energy into another beam. Destroya quickly bursts once more. Again, Godzilla's getting swarmed, claws stabbing deep into his back. They shoot into Godzilla's open wounds with their beams, as others fly ahead. Godzilla charges his energy, and with a painful screech, blasts radiation from his body, reopening the cut on his chest and blasting out of his cut dorsals. The smaller versions are vaporized. The from Destroyers try and gather up to recombine, but Godzilla jumps onto them, sucking the energy from one of them and squeezing the life out of the other till it pops, killing the last 2 versions. And there, on the battlefield, Godzilla gives a victory roar before succumbing to his wounds and passing out. And depending on your opinion, possibly dying. This fight is ridiculously close. Now, I know Heisei and Monster Super Stans will say otherwise, but you guys watching, the casuals, the Saiyan fans, you guys, you. Let me focus in on you and explain. There are plenty of ways for either of these two to win. If Godzilla were to land a longer and more charged up beam on Destroya's chest, that would kill him instantly. If Destroya sliced through Godzilla's neck, cutting horizontally rather than vertically, that would instantly decapitate him. So
luckily, Godzilla plays smart,
that can counter Godzilla in every way possible, the main deciding factor in this battle was the battle experience and speed. Thanks to Godzilla's sheer roster of victims under his belt, along with his far greater speeds and agility, I would see him pulling through. Not to mention adding his battle IQ with his general IQ, he would quickly realize to go for the smaller forms when Destroya separates. This battle is truly a coin toss. But if I had to pick this glove to my head, I would just ever so slightly lean towards Godzilla in this matchup. Again, I can't get it through enough to you all. This could go either way. Both kaiju have definitive ways of killing each other, but thanks to the sheer speed and battle IQ of Goji,
Godzilla wins by just having no aura. Just say that.
I have to give him the crown in this battle.
Nah,
One thing I would mention before we head out is that I can already hear the comments saying Destroya could just keep regenning, which is true, but we want a realistic battle. And Destroya in his film just doesn't span that ability, so it would be entirely out of character for him. So, with all of that being said, I hope you all enjoyed this Battle of the Ages. Thank you all for watching. Check out the fundraiser and Beast of the East down below, and be ready for December, as I'm happy to bring back the 10 days of Christmas. But, as always, everybody, stay flashy and keep collecting. GojiGuyy out.
All right, now I'm gonna be going out. I'm gonna be going out too. If you like this video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and if you like GojiGuyy, I'll leave him in the channel in my description, in his channel description, in the original video in the description too. If you want to go watch him, I am out too. Goodbye.